Anora actress declined an intimacy coordinator. If you've seen the movie Anora, directed by Sean Baker, starring Mickey Madison, there is a lot of sex in this film. Dare I say, I don't want to say it's graphic, but it's very, a lot happens. There's lots
Let's
of,
just say the movie opens with a lot of nudity.
A lot of nudity at a strip club. Now, look, I'm no prude. It's as part of the story. It really works. So, yes, it's important for the story. But I think, along with DEI, an intimacy coordinator is a grift. It's another thing like COVID compliance officer, intimacy coordinator, DEI. I mean, I look forward to a day where Hollywood can just make a movie without all these side grifts, people sucking parts of the budget. It's something every filmmaker has to deal with that works in the Hollywood system. And I'm just calling it out. These are grifts. And also, it's probably not in the story. We did I filmed a Q&A that our members only can watch with Daniel Craig talking about the movie Queer. He told the intimacy coordinator to fuck off during that film. And he and the other actor worked out their sex scenes between themselves like adults. But Alan, if you would read some abstracts from this story, and we'll discuss it.
Okay. So first paragraph just sets it up. Says that Mikey Madison plays a stripper and there's nudity in the beginning. And then it goes on to say, but there was no intimacy coordinator on set. It was a choice that I made, Madison said in a conversation with Pamela Anderson for Variety's Actors on Actors. She went on to explain that Baker and his wife, producer Samantha Kwan, offered her the chance to work with an intimacy coordinator, but she and Edelstein decided that it would be best just to keep it small. We were able to streamline it, shoot it super quickly. Intimacy coordination is relatively a new practice, popularized in the late 2010s, as studios began hiring experts in movement and mental health to choreograph sexually intimate scenes while offering legal and emotional advocacy to all parties involved. I'm going to skip down further when it talks to Marcy Liroff, who is an intimacy coordinator. She says she's empowered, she has autonomy within herself, and I totally get that. But an intimacy coordinator is not just there for lead actors. She says, when framed as do you want this support or not, it makes sense to me that someone might opt out because they personally do not feel the need for additional advocacy or support, not fully recognizing how the role also supports others on set. A representation of Madison declined to comment. According to Liroff, who worked on the Eric and Lyle Menendez, I admire Sean Baker as a filmmaker a lot, but what became really obvious to me is that he neglects to understand the power dynamics that are inherent on set, Liroff says. It is next to impossible for a performer to say no to someone who has hiring and firing power. You do not want to seem needy. You do not want to have to spend more money. We're a new position on set, so we're a new line item in the budget. Then
that's exactly what I was talking about. Yes, another line item in the budget. I think it's a grift. I think it's BS. I think in many ways directors have to act as therapists with actors. Actors can be highly emotional. They're probably more in touch with their emotions than your average person. So they're right on the surface. And all that is gobbledygook BS to get a paycheck for a job that is unnecessary when you have a skilled director. And if the actress and or actors are if the actors involved in whatever intimate scenes are okay with it, you discuss it. I mean, these are adults. Okay. So I call BS. I think more and more actors like Mickey Madison and Daniel Craig need to push back against this. It's a grift. like COVID compliance officer, like DEI person. I think a director, a filmmaker, producers are capable of hiring the best people for the job. And yes, they'll keep in mind you want a variety of different types of people. Maybe this role doesn't matter what the ethnicity of a person is. We get the best actor. Like, let's go back to that. Common sense. Let filmmakers make movies, not grifters impact and have an influence on the film. I am vehemently against all these grifts. They are grifts. Call them out. All of them. How can I get a piece of that $100 million Hollywood budget? And producers have been, what is it, $100,000 for this person, $300,000 here, $500,000 here. What does it matter to a movie that's like, $100, $200 million budget? It adds up. And the more grifts that come along, the worse. It's not helping movies. Allow filmmakers to make their films unencumbered by these influences. I'm against it. More people need to push back, and good on Mickey Madison. Hope she wins the Oscar. Alan, your thoughts? What are your comments?
Yeah, I generally agree, but there has to be a happy medium. Let's just say that the industry has taken advantage of women and others for a very long time, and
that's never happened.
It's never happened. No actress has ever walked on set and said, "Hey, today we're changing things. We're going to make a nude scene, and if you don't care, you can go home." That's never happened in the past. But at the same time, what happens is these grifters they take an issue like this and say, "Well, you're being taken advantage of. Hire us and we'll make sure everything." And what winds up happening today, when you get a little bit of power, you take a lot of power. And a lot of these intimacy coordinators become writers now on set, in a way that, when they talk to the actors, they'll try to convince them not to do the scene or have them rewrite it. To me personally, I think what needs to happen is if you're an actor who's going to go into a movie and there's a nude scene required or whatever sex scene required, I think it's perfectly fine to understand exactly what's going to happen on set before you arrive on set. To me, that seems reasonable. That there should be no surprises, zero surprises when you take off your clothes and do what you need to do. But as you say, that can be worked out amongst adults.
Yes, and also, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but if, say, an actor is in a movie and there's a nude scene for which they are uninvolved, they're not even in the scene, all actors are informed. This film has nude scenes. Then you can choose to be in it or not. Even if they're not involved, not on camera, it doesn't matter. They're not even in the scene. They are informed. I think Hollywood, yes, they've added some rules, but you don't need to add these positions. You just need to be responsible. So read a pamphlet in human resources, do your job, make the film that you have envisioned, and the movie's up for Oscars, or it's in contention. I think,
Well, yeah, Critics' Choice, definitely.
The work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, and look, the comments the intimacy coordinator makes in this, it's all comments to justify her job and to say, hey, you should have the freedom to have or not have the intimacy coordinator. And if you don't want it, you shouldn't guilt the person into not having it, because now you're doing the exact opposite of what what the problem you had in the past. So, like I said, I would say I wouldn't necessarily go far to say that you need to that the service is not valuable or not useful. But at the same time, there is a happy medium, and I think we're going to the extremes here. In the past, the extreme was you do what we say or you're fired, and now it's not only do you have an intimacy coordinator, but now that intimacy coordinator is going to advocate to the writer and the director on set for you, and I think that's going the wrong direction as well. There has to be a happy medium there.
Final thought before we go to comments is, I'm tired of these outside forces having so much influence on films. So I would like to see it end.
Yeah.
Come up with policies, but after that, let the filmmakers, which includes actors, let them make the movie. And if you're not actually involved in what's on screen making the movie, we don't need you.
Butt out. Yeah, butt out.